Uh, and now we see that this command did not work. We get this permission denied error, and it's actually great that when we've encountered this error. Some of you might not get this. For some of you, this command will work right away. For those of you for who it doesn't, turns out GCP VMs have an issue which has been documented in this Stack Overflow thread, where GCP has a background daemon running, which routinely resets your SSH keys. So how we tackle that is we need to add it at another place as well. Right after we've added it to our via the shell via the SSH, as I showed it to you earlier. So we just Google how to add GCP add SSH keys. Let's go to the first link that pops up, and here we scroll down to add SSH keys to project metadata, and we go to metadata there. So I already have something set up here. Let me just go ahead and delete that so that I can show you how it's done from scratch. So what we need to do is we need to copy our SSH keys again, our public SSH keys. So let's run this command again. So we go here and you should see an add SSH key. And here we add the key, and please pay attention to this. This one more important step we need to do here. As mentioned in the top upvoted answer, we need to mention the user at the end of the key. So if you notice, at the end of our earlier key was my email address, or your email address in your case. We need to remove that, including the double quotes, and just enter your username on the server. So in my case, it's Piyush. So let's just go ahead and save that. Once it's saved, you should see your key to be this way: your username followed by whatever key value. Now let's try and run this command again. And as you can see, it's worked. So let's try logging back into our VM again via a command we used earlier. There we go, we have access to it now. Now let's just look at all the file setup is in there. Now we should see the FastAPI deploy directory. Let's just look at the contents of it, and there we go, all our code is there. Next up, we need to install Docker on our system, on the server, I mean. So how we do that is we just look up how to install Docker on Linux machines, on Ubuntu. I'll be posting the link in the description later on. So we just copy this, go paste it there. Once that command finishes running, let's run the next one. Once that finishes too, we run the command to verify if Docker has been installed properly. We just run a simple hello world image, and you should see this output. This implies that Docker has been installed correctly. And right now we always need to run Docker commands with sudo. Later on, if needed, you can figure out on your own how to bypass this sudo, so that you don't need to run it as a super user, and you should be able to just run Docker commands using just Docker run something. Now that we've finished setting Docker up, let's go ahead and run our application on the server. And we're already in the FastAPI deploy directory. So all we need to do is whatever command we ran locally, We just run that here onto the server. Once this finishes running, you should see something this way. And as you can see, our application is running on port 80. And why that is important is, like I mentioned earlier, we specifically run it on port 80 is because all machines, all server machines, uh, receive their HTTP or HTTPS traffic on port 80. Right. So now what should happen is once we go get our IP address, put it in the browser, we should see our API live. So as you can see, this is the IP address of our virtual machine, and we run this and we get a response. So this means our application has been deployed successfully. Now next up, we'd be looking at how to set up a simple CI/CD pipeline, and why that is necessary is uh, every time we make a change to the code, we don't want to run all these uh, all these tedious commands as we did earlier, copying the file there and then going within the server and then running Docker Compose within the folder in the server again, right? We need a way where just just by pushing to our repository, we should have the application newly deployed. So every time there are any new changes, they should get deployed there automatically. So how we'll be doing that is, uh, I'll walk you through how we can set up a CI/CD pipeline using GitHub Actions, uh, and then we'd be making a small change to this file. We'd be probably we could change this to a different message, and then once we push it, we should see a different response than hello world here.